You wake up, and there it is. That weight, that dread. Not about anything specific, just there. So you do what you've been taught to do. You try to figure out why. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your relationship, maybe you're just defective. So you think about it, you analyze, you make lists, and the more you think about it, the worse it gets. Right? Here's what's actually happening, and it's not what you think. Every therapist, every self-help book, every Instagram mental health account tells you the same thing. Reframe your thoughts. Challenge your negative beliefs. Think positive. So you do. You journal. You use those CBT worksheets. You repeat affirmations in the mirror. And for maybe 20 minutes, you feel lighter. Then it comes back, heavier than before, because you're fighting a ghost. The real enemy? It's not in your thoughts. Most people waste years talking about their feelings. You're about to learn the biological shortcut. Let me introduce you to something called the Depressive Dominant. It's not a metaphor. It's a physiological structure, a cluster of neurons, in your subcortex, the ancient brain. This concept comes from a Russian physiologist named A.A. Uptomsky. Here's how it works. When a cluster of neurons gets activated strongly enough, it becomes the boss of your entire nervous system. It suppresses every other neural center. And here's the scary part. It hijacks all incoming stimuli to reinforce itself. Someone tells a joke, the dominant twists it into an insult. Good news at work? Your brain finds the hidden threat. A friend reaches out? You interpret it as pity. Everything gets filtered through this one cluster of neurons, and it's sitting in your subcortex, the automatic brain, the part you don't control. Here's the trap. Depression starts in consciousness. You fail at something. You feel bad. That's normal. But then, it sinks. It migrates from your neocortex, your conscious mind, down into the subcortex, the basement of your brain. And once it's there, it lives on its own, like a parasite. Now here's the truly cruel part. The subcortex starts generating depressive thoughts to justify its own state. You think you're sad because you lost your job? You think you're sad because you're alone? You think you're sad because you're a failure, but that's backward. You're not sad because you have reasons to be sad. You're finding reasons to be sad because your subcortex is stimulating a depressive center. The thoughts aren't the cause. They're the exhaust fumes. The original researcher literally said, the problem, born at the level of consciousness, is now submerged in the subcortex and lives its own depressive life, dictating to the person his depressive thoughts. It's dictating to you, not from you. Think about your internal monologue right now. Why am I such a failure? What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be normal? It sounds meaningful, right? Like real philosophy, real introspection. But neurologically, it's just bleeding, like a sheep, random biological static. Your brain is trying to explain a physical sensation, tension, fatigue, stress, using words. But there's no semantic content, no truth. It's just noise, and you've been trying to solve the noise. So if you can't think your way out, what do? The answer is in something called technologies of the self. It's a concept from philosopher Michel Foucault, and it's backed by modern neuroscience. Here's the equation. Practices create structure, not thoughts, not feelings, not intentions, actions. Your subcortex doesn't understand language. It doesn't care about your journal entries. It only responds to mechanical repetition. You change the structure by changing the behavior, not the other way around. Step 1. Stop debating your thoughts. Every time you ask yourself, why am I sad? You're feeding the dominant. The dominant feeds on attention. Attention equals neural energy, which equals blood flow. which equals resources. You're literally strengthening it every time you engage. Here's what to do instead. Next time a depressive thought shows up, say this out loud. That's not me, that's the dominant. Don't debate it. Don't analyze whether it's true, just label it. Then immediately redirect your attention to something physical. Your breath, your hands, the texture of the floor. You're breaking the feedback loop. The dominant needs you to engage with the thought to survive. When you refuse, you cut its supply line. But labeling alone isn't enough, because the dominant will keep generating thoughts. So here's how you actually starve it. Step 2. Cut the internal text. I want you to try something. Set a timer for 10 minutes. During those 10 minutes, zero internal dialogue. No, why am I sad? No, what should I do about my life? If a thought appears, physically shake your head, like you're shaking off water. Focus only on external stimuli, sounds, textures, colors. And here's the key. Do this while moving. Walk. Don't sit still. Why? Because the subcortex thrives in stillness and rumination. Movement activates your motor cortex, a competing neural network. You're starving one brain region by feeding another. Most people skip this step because it sounds too simple. Then they wonder why nothing changes. Don't be most people. Step 3. Build a competing dominant. Here's the truth. You can't delete a neural structure, but you can build a stronger one that steals its resources. Michel Foucault said, "Practices constitute the subject." You don't have a self. You are your mechanical habits. So here's the protocol. Choose one high-intensity mechanical practice, not something relaxing, something that demands 100% of your attention. Options: complex math, pull up Khan Academy, solve algebra problems for 20 minutes. Free, sprint intervals, 30 seconds full speed sprint, 90 seconds rest. Repeat 6 times. Memorization, pick a poem or a speech. Memorize it line by line. Physical labor, scrub a floor, organize a closet, deep clean something. The rule: it must demand your full attention. No autopilot allowed. If you can still think about your problems while doing it, it's not intense enough. Here's the biology. Your brain has limited blood flow. When you activate a new dominant, solving calculus, sprinting all out, blood flows there. The depressive center gets less oxygen, less glucose. Do this daily for 21 days, and it becomes a structural fact. The new neural network physically crowds out the old one. But here's the mistake everyone makes with this step. Step 4. You have to sustain it. One workout doesn't change your body. One practice session doesn't change your brain. The depressive dominant took weeks, maybe months to form. The new dominant needs the same time. So here's the commitment. 21 consecutive days, minimum 20 minutes per day. Track it physically. Paper checklist, X marks. And this is critical. If you miss one day, restart the count. Why so strict? Because neuroplasticity doesn't care about your intentions. It only responds to consistency. The brain reorganizes its structure based on repeated behavior. After about 21 days, the new dominant starts to auto-activate. You'll notice something strange. The depressive thoughts still appear, but they're quieter, less magnetic. They show up, and then they just fade because you're not feeding them anymore. Skip this step, and everything before it is useless. The dominant will just regrow, like cancer. Step 5. Recognize the shift. After 2 weeks, try this. Sit in silence for 5 minutes. Notice how quickly the depressive monologue starts. Week 1, instant. Week 3, delayed, maybe even absent. That delay is proof. The structure is changing. You're measuring dominant strength by its activation speed. A weak dominant takes longer to boot up. Eventually, it becomes dormant, still there, but not in control. And that's when you realize you were never broken. You were just running the wrong program. This isn't about curing depression. It's about understanding what you are. You're not a mind piloting a body. You're a biological system. Neurons, electricity, structure. The old story, I'm depressed because life is hard. The new story, I had a maladaptive subcortical structure. Now I'm building a new one. Most people will live their whole lives thinking they're broken. You now know you're just miswired, and wiring can change. You're not fighting your thoughts. You're not trying to be positive. You're doing surgery at the neural level with nothing but attention and repetition. Your thoughts don't create your brain. Your actions do. Stop talking to the monster. Starve it. Day 1 starts now.